Versa, the city-bred SUV.
Oh goodness, that's another high-scoring thriller that we've got at Delhi, and eventually the home side gets their first win at the Arun Jaitley Stadium this season. It came down to the last over, it came down to the last ball, but Mukesh Kumar held his nerve, Rashid Khan couldn't clear it. So, the Delhi Capitals win, and we ask questions of the Titans, who continue to be unable to win back-to-back games in this season. It's getting a bit cramped, that middle period of the points table, which we'll look at in a little while. First, we look back at how Delhi managed to get up on the right side of this result. On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout in the company of two fast bowlers who continue to celebrate another 440-run fest. And senior correspondent Shashank Kishore also with me. Let's just start with what was the difference in the team that won and the team that did. Varun?
The last 2 overs of the GT bowling. 50 plus runs in 2 overs, especially in the last 2 overs, is definitely going to cost you the game.
I think it's a short but precise point there, because they were ahead of where Delhi were at every stage going into the last over, including the 19th over, yet they fall short.
Yep, they did. Yeah, it was some great hitting from Rishabh Pant, wasn't it? And also a handy little knock from Tristan Stubbs, who's becoming one of the great finishers in the IPL. What a great pickup for Delhi as well. So he's fit in nicely, great combination down the bottom there. But yeah, it was some brave bowling at the end. You could see what they were trying to do. It looked like a wicket. It was very difficult to defend on. And some great hitting from both sides. Rashid Khan, don't we see him do this all the time? Almost get his team over the line at the end. But again, I actually think the difference came down to, those 2 overs were quality. So that's one of the reasons. But the fielding from Delhi. They dropped a couple of catches at the end. But the fielding on the boundary, and Anurag Nortje's over, I think it went for 24, could have gone for 26. Shea Hope on the boundary, full stretch, nowhere near the ball, gave it a big dive just in hope of almost getting there and pulled it back in. He saved 2 runs there, and then Tristan Stubbs at long on pulled that one in as well, over his head. Took the ball cleanly and chucked it back inside. So those are 2 massive moments, saving 4 to 6 runs, which at the end was what got them across the line.
Yeah, we thought that when Miller was dismissed, perhaps they've run out of hitters. But we were rightly told at the start of the day today that we must not underestimate Sai Kishore's hitting ability. And now we learn that he is basically a 19th over specialist today. He bowled the 19th and he whacked a few in the 19th. So at least we got a glimpse of that.
Yeah, but I think GT will also look back at that phase just after the power play where Ridhiman Saha slowed down considerably after that turbo charge.
And sometimes it's harsh, right? We're trying to take key moments. But I think Shashank's made a good point here. Sometimes if you lose momentum even for 1 over or 2 overs in a big chase, eventually it catches up.
Coming back to the Sai Kishore point, I really think he should have taken a single in the 3rd over of the 19th over. The ball which he got beaten, the slow ball which Rashid Salam bowled to him.
Rashid Khan.
No. That was Sai Kishore batting.
The 19th over, you're saying?
19th over, yeah.
There were no singles turned down. Oh, sorry. That's 19th over. Yeah, okay,
He got... That was a big moment in the game for me. Yes, obviously there are going to be plays made with the fielding side, batting side. But like small basics like that can cost you the game. Because if Rashid was batting for 3 balls compared to... Yes, he hit a 6. I get that. But Rashid gives you a better chance of chasing that total down with 3 extra balls.
I think eventually it almost seems like both teams had really good hitting ability today on a difficult ground like the 2 of you have mentioned. I'm just trying to think of when you have this kind of game, you look at the obvious mistakes, and we can't help but think that Shubman Gill's use of his bowlers has been the difference in Delhi finishing at 220 as against 210 or 200, and maybe that could have been a different result.
Yep, and it's another one to add to your stats column in terms of games that Rashid goes 35 or over, GT lose. So maybe it was a tactical ploy as well from Delhi to take on Rashid Khan and hit the spinners in the middle. But you're right, there should have been a seamer used at that point. When someone like Sandeep Warrior is going well, you've got to try and make sure he bowls his 4 overs. And even if it is in the 19th over where you think he might not be suited, it's a far better option on such a small ground. It's a half hit at Delhi when it's a good wicket. It's one of the smaller grounds and harder grounds to bowl at.
I mean,
in the IPL.
clearly in the times of the impact sub, today it's fair to say Titans were usually quite a tactically sharp team. In fact, perhaps ahead of some of the others on most days. Effectively carried a player that that was redundant. I know Sai Kishore hit a few today, but clearly you've picked a team which you've not been able to utilize your resources well today. Does that surprise you? They could have anticipated. What I'm trying to go is they would have anticipated that we're going to get maybe 10, 12, 13 overs of left-hand batting today.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you made that decision and you're fielding first, if you sub somebody out immediately before even bowling him, that just makes you look really like silly, because I can imagine if they made that decision, if they were bowling second, they could have been like, okay, maybe the conditions weren't right or XYZ. But then when if you made a decision with going in with these bowlers and you're bowling first, you can't change that. Also, the other thing is, like, I feel a lot of times as experts we break down a situation and say that things haven't worked out because of this. But the reason why GT is in this place of a little muddle with their bowlers is because they've lost two very integral part of their bowling unit, which is Mohammad Shami and Hardik Pandya. So, and this year they started with Umesh Yadav. He obviously didn't come good. They've changed with Narkande, with Warrior,
Spencer Johnson.
Spencer Johnson. So they're not sure who can bowl at the death. So this kind of stuff generally happens when a team is not sure who are their death bowlers, except Mohit.
I know what you're trying to say, but not one of us four here sitting on the couch can say that it was a smart decision going in to play Delhi, who arguably could have played David Warner as well. So that adds a fourth left-hander. Warner, Porrell, you've got Rishabh Pant and you've got Axar Patel on a small ground. Not one of us can sit here and say it's a smart decision to play three spinners and a left-arm spinner being their third option.
Don't get me wrong.
So we're saying the decision before the game was the decision that put them in the wrong place.
No. What I'm saying is on the basis of this decision not being right. But the reason which a lot of people don't understand, I mean, we understand it, right? But a lot of people don't understand why this decision has happened is because their bowlers are not settled. That's what I'm trying to say.
So I think the decision happened because he got wickets last game.
So that's the other thing I was going to bring up.
That's it.
Player of the match in the last game.
Yeah.
But there's Jayant Yadav in that squad.
Yeah. And he's got a great record. He's got a great record at Delhi.
Okay, I'm going to pick and choose where I bring in the spinner that turns it away.
He's got a great record at Delhi. And he's a power play bowler.
Yeah. Assuming he's fit and available. I'm just saying that
Jayant is fit and available. I'm sure. But GT, this is not, what I'm trying to say is, this is not a general GT pattern. Like you said, they are tactically very sound. They've played horses for courses before.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're picking at strands, if anybody's doing well, you want him to play as management.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, also...
That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand that. I'm just saying the decision they made to play, the man of the match of the last game, put them at a considerable disadvantage going into this game.
I'm sure,
100%.
I'm sure they could also be saying, it's not like we didn't have bowling resources. Right? We have, in the impact era, you have enough deep batting, you have enough deep bowling. So between the 12 that you were going to play anyway, where Sudarshan would come in, if Sai Kishore becomes redundant, so be it. On some days, another bowler bowls one over. Sandeep Warrior sometimes bowls one over.
Today, Shahrukh was the man to bowl that one over.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean. They could.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I guess they would go, okay, if the situation was different, where if all the left-handers got out, and you had Stubbs and Shea Hope batting for very long.
Correct.
You have four. You have four in the top.
Right, but let's say if you had Stubbs and Shea Hope batting or Prithvi, or Fraser McGurk batting for longer in the innings,
which would never
Sai Kishore comes in. If he doesn't come in, I have enough options. So,
which would never have happened because they would have gone left, right, left, right, left, right. So they would have always been able to target the short side.
True.
So it's not like you got four in the top 8 or potentially 4 in the top 8.
Please call Sai Kishore and ask him what is his thing of not bowling to left-handers. I'm sure he'll, with all his acumen, he's going to tell you.
He actually trains incredibly hard against left-handers. There was a
that's what I wanted you to say.
There was a Syed Mushtaq Ali game last year where they played Haryana, and I think Rahul Tewatia took him to the cleaners. And at the end of the game, he went along with Tewatia, did a little bit of, asked him to bat in the middle after the game when you're supposed to probably be chilling or doing something else. And he kept bowling at him for like 15-20 minutes and trying to bowl it away from his hitting arc. So it's not like he's not trying. He works incredibly hard. Sometimes it just doesn't come off.
Perfect. So then it's not a selection issue then. It's just he wasn't
You have to be
used
brave
correctly
enough to
by
do it.
Shubman Gill.
And sometimes, I can't forget how Pat Cummins brought Shabazz on when Kishan and Rohit were going great guns. And he just gets Ishan Kishan out.
Yeah. See, the thing is, also you must understand that if you see Shahbaz Ahmed and if you see Jaddu, when they're bowling to lefties, they're very round arm. Okay. Now, especially Aksar, if you go to see, the guys who are round arm, left arm orthodox spinners, it's easier for them to bowl to a lefty because with the round arm action, you can slide it across easily. If you see Sai Kishore, he's not that round arm. So no matter what he does, it's always going to come out at a trajectory and at an angle which is easier for the left-hander. So sometimes, no matter what you want to do as a bowler, if your technique doesn't allow you to do that, you're going to struggle a bit, no matter how good a bowler you are.
Let's take some comments and questions from the viewers. And you guys are enjoying this. Lots of comments that we've covered. Tristan Stubbs is JM's player of the match for the saves at the boundary. Mitch has brought that up. That is important. Maybe not player of the match, but certainly very important contribution. Has the taking down of Sai Kishore in the 19th over was the decision that cost GT the game. We just touched upon that too. Divyanshu says they lost it in the last 2 overs of the first innings. Both captains had an ordinary day today. Interesting. That's another comment that we're seeing. Both captains had an ordinary day. I thought Pant was all right with his bowling changes. In fact, Rasiq Salam bowled quite well, you'd think.
Yeah, until the last over,
He got those important wickets.
Important wickets.
Yeah, and also sometimes you're only as good as your team is as a captain because, I mean, for all you know, Saiki could have gone for 7 runs and gotten a wicket.
Like a genius move.
And then suddenly you say it's a genius move, you know. So also we must understand that he is playing his role as a bowler. His job is to do a bowler's job, no matter who's batting righty or lefty. So sometimes, like as a spectator, you can be like, you know what, this is a bad decision.
I think that's a really good point you make because Mohit Sharma has gone for 35 and gone for 73, and that is the best bowler in the IPL for the last 2 years among the top economy. So even if Sandeep Aurya gets the 19, he could go for 20
easily,
of course.
With the kind of hitting form Stubbs and Pant were in. Perspective, all right, very good. What else do we have? How hard is it for any bowler to bowl 3 at the death as we saw today with Mohit Sharma?
Good question.
Good question.
Very good question.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
Because the reason being is that unless you completely change your tactic from the previous over, the batsmen, and they haven't got out, and they've faced you that previous over, they know exactly what your plans are. So you've almost got to be brave enough to change up the first ball or 2 that next over, because if you go back to the same plan, you know that they're going to counter it. So it gets very, very difficult to be able to execute 3 overs in a row at the death perfectly.
That's from a batter's perspective. Mitch has done a great job decoding it from a batter's perspective, but from a bowler's perspective, if, say you have to bowl 3 overs at the death, and you're not landing a Yorker on that day, man, you're in a deep soup, because Mohit Sharma wasn't able to land his Yorkers today, which he generally does, and when you have to bowl 3 on the trot, when one of your main balls isn't landing on that day, which can happen to any bowler, you know, then, and you know there's nobody else to back me up, then that's generally what's going to happen. Would you agree?
Yeah, you've got to have a whole lot of tricks. Yeah. Unfortunately, when he wasn't hitting the Yorker, they knew there was going to be a slow ball.
Yeah.
And just sat up and didn't get the pop that he would usually get when playing at Gujarat.
Yeah.
Anyone at the top of the head know the Pant v Mohit Sharma matchup, how it plays out? Anyone? Or have we had enough of a sample size of it? I'm sure we have in previous years. But I think also the other thing is, if you're hoping that one guy who's got your number gets out in those last 5, if you're bowling 3 on the trot,
100%.
At times Patirana bowls 2 or 3 at the end, or you have some bowlers designated.
So again, with Pant, generally, so Mohit Sharma relies on his Yorker and his slow ball, right, at the death. Now with Pant, the bowlers who bowl the off-cutter slow ball work better than somebody who bowls the back of the hand. So because the off-cutter, we all know that Pant is slightly weaker on the offside compared to the left.
Yeah.
So if you have the off-cutter which takes it away, like if Jasprit Bumrah bowls to him, he's going to obviously, if Jasprit Bumrah bowls to anybody, they're going to struggle. But what I'm trying to say is that the off-cutter is more difficult for Pant, and Mohit's back of the hand comes out perfectly for Pant to hit.
All right. This is good. JM says, is it possible for a captain to forget a player in the team and therefore forget to bowl him? Then realize in the 19th over, oh, he's in the team, I want to give him a ball.
We saw that with Raza in one of the Punjab games, didn't bowl an over, coming as all-rounder. Yep.
What I've heard from the grapevine is that it has happened. I won't name the captain.
I know who the captain is.
Oh.
Yeah.
So please follow Varun on his social and tell him who. But it can happen. But I don't think that was the case
No,
today.
He's quite a tall player to forget, on the field.
That's
he's got
and the moppy hair makes it almost impossible to ignore.
It just means that when they did pick Sai, we spoke about it in the halftime show, is that there has to be a plan of when you're going to use them. If the scenario does happen that they do have their left-handers, and you don't want to bowl him to the left-handers, so they should have been looking to use him to the right-handers at the start of the fixture, and we know he can bowl in the power play. So that was his time to get at least two or three overs in.
Yeah, Vijayender, I'm curious if there is a genuine reason for so many drop catches in this tournament. We actually did the halftime fielding report on the halfway game. We saw the higher percentage of drop catches this year. So I'd advise you to go there. Lots of good points made. But anybody wants to add very quickly anything on why we continue to see so many chances go down?
It's just trending down, isn't it? The last 5 years, there's been a decrease in percentage of catches taken, and it's a concerning stat. But it's also a stat that if you're a team that puts the work in to get better at it, you can actually separate yourself from the field. So maybe it's just a case of them not doing as much practice as we've seen in the past.
Varun Iyengar, can you talk about Pant's wicket keeping and coming up to the stumps? That was outstanding. There was such a big couple of moments in the game. But yeah, Pant very good behind the stumps.
Pant's been really good behind the stumps. Even when he just came back from his layoff,
That was the first thing we saw.
Yeah, that was the first thing which all of us noticed on this panel was Pant's wicket keeping. And I mean, credit to him, credit to everybody at the NCA who's helped him get back to this kind of form. Because if you see some of the shots he's hitting and the kind of pressure he's putting on his knees to hit those shots, you would never know that somebody has had like a life-threatening accident and he's batting after that, which is really heartwarming.
It's been fascinating, hasn't it? There's been 2 occasions this IPL where a keeper's come up to the stumps. One was to Shikhar Dhawan because he stands out of his crease and likes to come down.
Yeah, Klaasen, that was excellent.
Yeah, from Klaasen, that stumping was
that
outstanding.
Was a great stumping,
and then today, again, it was a tactical decision, right? Because Sai Sudarshan was outside his crease looking to advance and get on top of the bounce. And straight away, it might have almost been the third ball as well, where they came down the wicket and made a mistake.
Very good. Just a couple of quick ones. This is good for Nokia. Do you think South Africa will not pick him for the World Cup with the way he's bowling?
It's a bit tough because
he's also not got a contract for what it's worth. No central contract.
It's going to be a bit tough for him because he's going at over 13 per over, which is high. It's not even like he's going at 10, above 10s. He's going above 13. So I'm sure his form would be concerning to the South African selection board.
It's hard work for Andre Nokia, brought back into the team after being left out. Still expensive. It's been a tough tournament though for bowlers, and he is coming back from injury. The last one on the Titans, do you think the batting is still got weaknesses at the top because Saha and Omarzai are not in form? Too much that Gill and Sudarshan need to do. Could Kane Williamson make a difference?
Well, look, we said
Omarzai is a point.
Yeah, we said it in the pre-show that, I said it, that I don't think Omarzai is a number 4. When we've seen him score runs internationally, it's been at 6 or 7, finishing an innings, and he's very impactful down there. And he's not in the position to be able to craft an innings. He's a one-pace player, and when your team's under pressure, like we saw tonight, you can go bang bang and then be behind the 8 ball. So, great point. And I would be championing either getting Wade or Kane Williamson in there, even trying to find a place for Omarzai because he's been great with the ball as well. So they may have to look at splitting up that pairing of Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan to get the most out of their batting.
But I understand the logic of putting Omarzai there. I don't agree with it, but the logic of putting him in there is because we were again talking about 4 or 5 continuous batsmen who are of the similar mould. They're just trying to break that mold by putting Omarzai there instead of David Miller. So even if Omarzai is gets out, he's a bit more dispensable than Miller. So that's the logic behind it. But again, I agree with him not being there.
We got a couple of comments which says not only should Kane play, but he should come in and captain. Gill is not ready. It's a bit harsh.
No, that's a bit harsh.
Well, there's a nice comment here which says, can we just all agree it's an internship for Gill as captain? I like that. Internship for Gill as captain.
And IPL is no internship.
I agree. And that's probably to the point that your last question was about, is that if you have Kane Williamson on the field, you've got a serious amount of brains and tactics, and able to have chats to Shubman and slow the game down.
Totally agree with that.
Think clearly under pressure. And I wonder who that guy is with leadership experience in that side.
Okay, fair enough. All right, thank you all for sending in those questions. Mohammad Masfin Ridda says, Mitch, you've been spot on right through the IPL. Well done.
Well done, Mitch.
Express
Thank
your
you very much.
gratitude. Yep.
Mitch should get 5 extra bonus points for that comment.
Yeah.
Please.
No, I don't read all the
need
comments that come for you. Lots coming for you also.
Okay.
First one I've got from Mitchell.
Okay. No.
As my mum. As my mum got up early to watch. Must be.
There is one from Neeta. It says, I work in the same building. Would love to meet all of you. Well, you're more than welcome, Neeta. We're on the 6th floor. I won't reveal the building. Let's see now if you actually are.
And we've got the coziest studio.
Yeah, we've got a nice studio. Lovely studio. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. It's time to do a quick fire review of this game now. Shashank, do you know the drill here?
Yes, I do know it. Yeah.
Very good.
Instinctive answers. Yeah. Let's go.
Instinctive answers it is. So let's go for it, guys. All right. Did Delhi outsmart Gujarat by sending Akshar at number 3, Varun? 20 seconds.
Yes, they did. I mean, that was a great move. Akshar has been wanting to move up the positions in the Delhi batting order. I think he's been feeling a bit left out after the impact sub came in, and today was an opportunity for him to prove his worth, which he has in the past, but just like remind everybody that he's a great batter.
Okay, Mitch, Pant's knock, the Pant Stubbs stand, or Delhi's fielding, what do you think had the biggest impact on the result? 20 seconds.
Oh, great question. All three have got their merit, but I would say it's the Punt Stubbs stand. I think Rishabh Pant and Tristan Stubbs, they took that last 2 overs down. First one went for 22 and the last one went for 31.
Yeah.
And that was the making of a total that Gujarat couldn't achieve.
Okay, Shashank, here's one for you. Warrior not bowling out and Sai Kishore bowling the 19th. Did Gujarat get their tactics wrong? 20 seconds.
Yes, they did. Sandeep Warrior, I mean, he is mostly effective up top. So having bowled his 3 overs, I think there was possibly a case of him bowling a 4th, just like what they did with Omarzai. But having said that, there was definitely with the kind of form that Pant and Stubbs were in, he couldn't have done much worse than Sai Kishore. So yes, they did get that slightly wrong.
Okay. Is Nokia someone Delhi can persist with going forward? Varun?
They have given him a really extended run, but I think they should play Jai Richardson now because they played big bucks for him. He's played one game, and from what I hear, he wasn't well in that game, and he went for 40 off 4, but I think they can definitely give him another go.
Okay, Shashank, back to you. Despite the defeat, is this Gujarat's best batting effort of the campaign, or can they still change things up with their batting order?
I think there's scope to change something around. Matthew Wade up top to open the batting with Shubman Gill.
Yeah.
I've for long felt that they've underutilized Rashid Khan's abilities lower down the order. So they've got a lot of batting cushion lower down the order. And at the moment, I mean, Saha hasn't been in form. And yes, he got them off to a good start today. But again, that slowdown after the power play increasingly puts a lot of pressure on the likes of Miller and the other middle order batters coming in. So I think there's scope for them to bring in Matthew Wade and also cancel out the extra bowler by the overseas bowler Omarzai by bringing in someone like Darshan Nalkande. So they could look to tweak that
so much. I let you go on for 20 seconds because it was thought-provoking. I don't mind Wade at the top. You need someone with a little oomph and who won't slow down after the power play.
Top.
Yes?
Yeah. I don't want that.
Okay, very good. See, now you gave such a good one, I'm not going to give you any more. Last one to you. Mitch, was this fielding on display today from the Capitals the best we've seen this season?
Yep, there was some great catches. I think the Axar Patel catch in close was exceptional, and then we thought that was going to be the best catch, and then Fraser McGurk took an absolute blinder, and then Rishabh Pant with that inside edge standing up to the stumps was high quality. So catching was on point, but the ground fielding was the best for me.
Okay, excellent. Rapid fire review done and dusted. It's now time to see how the panel fared in the impact zone.
The sharp.
Varun on his return. A thumping win.
Yeah, Kuldeep was the difference, wasn't he?
And I have actually done something which has not happened on the impact zone. I picked the player with the highest rating and the player with the lowest rating. For Mohit and Pant. Let's look at that one more time and see the highlights of the impact zone. Remember, high impact scores today. So Miller did well, Kuldeep did well. Gill's having a tough tournament now. Stubbs, even though he got a 22 of 7, that's how you see the high impact in 53. Good picks, I must say, Shashank. But at the end,
a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Don't worry. I've got worse than that. I got single digits yesterday total.
Shashank was tapping into his analytical brain, which I told him to leave.
I'll just let loose for tomorrow and just go wild on my predictions. Yeah.
Play freely. He thinks he's the only batsman on the panel, so he has to bat cautiously. But as it turns out, they've sent Sai Kishore for the post-match press conference.
That's
It's a
tough.
very interesting day to send him.
That's tough.
Thrown him into a tank of sharks. Yeah.
People like Shashank with his JSTA notebook waiting over there. Trying to have a move. All right, Shashank, thanks very much. We will see you again tomorrow. So to you, Varun and Mr. McClenaghan, enjoy a well-earned day off.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple of days. Let's have a look at the points table quickly. Just confirmation that this is an important win for the Capitals, who now are level with points in Gujarat, having played the same number of games. They still keep an interest in seeing if enough teams ahead of them slip up to allow them perhaps what will be a backdoor entry. But it's a really good one lining up tomorrow. Sunrisers, Hyderabad and RCB. Delhi, as it turns out, will stay put at home and welcome the Mumbai Indians in an important game of the weekend. And Gujarat Titans go back to Ahmedabad, where they now play RCB back-to-back in their next 2 games. We look forward to your company for SRH RCB tomorrow. Download the mobile app. It'll have you covered with everything that Sai Kishore is saying to the media right now, as well as the faster scores and so much more. The ESPN Cricket for mobile app. We will see you tomorrow for Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Thank you very much.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the City Bread